Hi everyone, what's up? Welcome back here. I'm guessing you've probably heard the advice to be more proactive in life before, but what does that actually mean? Stay tuned to find out. Studies show that people who are more proactive in life are more satisfied with their life, more motivated to learn, more creative, they're more successful in their careers, they experience being promoted more often, and they earn more money. Sounds like something worth looking into to me. The concept of proactivity started popping up in management literature in the 80s, and the Merriam-Webster dictionary defines being proactive as acting in anticipation of future needs, changes, or problems. It was made very popular by Stephen Covey in his book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and the first habit that he describes is being more proactive. And for him, the core of being more proactive is taking responsibility for one's own life. The first research paper came up in 1993 by Thomas Bateman and Bateman Crant, and this paper is actually still relevant to us today because they came up with a scale to measure proactivity. And I'd like to read 10 questions from that scale to you right now so that you can get a better feeling for what proactivity is and how proactive you are. And no matter the feeling you get concerning your own proactivity, stay tuned because at the end I will give you some tips on how to become more proactive in life. So here are the 10 questions, and you might want to see while I go through them how much you agree to them about yourself. And the more you agree, the more proactive you're likely to be. I'm constantly on the lookout for new ways to improve my life. Wherever I have been a powerful force for constructive change. Nothing is more exciting to me than seeing my ideas turn into reality. If I see something I don't like, I fix it. No matter what the odds, if I believe in something, I will make it happen. I love being a champion for my ideas, even against others' opposition. I excel at identifying opportunities. I'm always looking for better ways to do things. If I believe in an idea, no obstacle will prevent me from making it happen. And I can spot a good opportunity long before others can. Research is still trying to formulate a model that tells us what exactly proactivity is in the sense of what the elements of proactivity are. And one suggestion is that there are 3 core elements. Number 1, an action orientation. That means influencing situations instead of waiting and seeing what will happen. Number 2, a change orientation, striving for improvement and influencing circumstances for the better. And last but not least, number 3, the ability to focus on the future. That means trying to see what is likely going to happen and then preparing for those opportunities or problems one is anticipating. So all in all, being proactive means to be continuously changing, developing, ready for learning, to seek out information, socialize, network, to seek out feedback, to become more self-aware, to act according to one's own values, goals, and priorities, to set up plans to live by those values, and also to be quite perseverant when it comes to implementing a change. When we're not acting proactively, we are acting reactively. This means that instead of shaping our life, we react to things that come along. Instead of taking responsibility for things that we actually could change if we made the effort, we make up excuses and maybe even feel like a victim. Instead of acting on our values and priorities and goals, we act on conditions, our spontaneous moods. We deal with things as they come along. We don't prepare or plan anything, which leads to us being in a constant firefighting mode, doing things in the last minute, maybe even wasting our time and ultimately feeling overwhelmed. I think by now it's as plain as day how beneficial it is to be proactive. And here are 4 things you can do to practice being more proactive in life. The first thing is that you can start paying more attention to what you want, to develop a vision for your life. Being reactive means just acting whenever something comes up, and that is usually because we don't really have anything to strive forwards to. And being proactive requires this vision or this something that pulls us. So ask yourself, what do you want your life to look like today, tomorrow, in 3 years? You might even want to write this down and add further details whenever they come to mind. If you're having a hard time with this, start with smaller situations. If you have been putting off your wants for too long, it could be that this voice has become very hard for you to hear, very quiet. And you can rediscover this voice very easily in small situations. So instead of going with the flow of your habits or the path of the least resistance from others, question these situations, daily situations, that have become a habit for you and see if you're acting on a true want or just because it's become comfortable. Is the lunch break that you're having the lunch break you want to have? Are the people you're spending it with the people you want to spend it with? Is what you're eating what you want to be eating? Is what you're doing what you want to be doing on your lunch break? Is the way you're spending your Friday night the way you want to spend your Friday night? Or has it just become a habit? So practice listening to this inner voice in very small situations and practice reacting to it instead of just pushing it away. One aspect of being proactive is being on the lookout for opportunities to make something happen. And once we have a vision, we are actually supporting our brain in recognizing opportunities in which we can actually make something happen. So it enables our brain to draw our attention to opportunities that can help us take small steps towards our vision. Also, the more concretely you formulate your vision, the better. And I will link a video that I have recorded in the past around this topic up here if you want to go further into that. Thought number 2, become more aware of your ability to influence and change your life. We all have the ability to influence and design our lives, even if it may seem small to us at some times, or it may actually be smaller in certain circumstances or phases of life, or if it's just smaller than the people who are around us. But no matter how small it is, we all have those moments in which we can take charge and influence something. And the more we do that, the better, because then we will develop the habit of being proactive instead of reactive. And it is not that likely that a big opportunity will present itself to us and we will completely oversee it just because we're habitually reactive. So purposefully look for situations and circumstances in which you can actually take charge and influence something, change something. And pay attention to seemingly small things that we can do. Sometimes when we do something repeatedly, we can actually yield astonishing results over a longer period of time. One thing many people complain about, for example, is not having enough time to read in their daily life. But someone who reads just 30 minutes a day would actually spend a whole month worth of working time reading over a year if they're working for 8 hours a day and they don't do anything else. So something that might seem insignificant on just one single day, that is 30 minutes of reading, is actually quite significant in the span of a whole year. Also be on the lookout for situations that you can maybe not directly control, but indirectly influence. Often when we're not the ones that are directly in charge, we miss out on taking the opportunity to influence a situation. You might not be responsible for the time frame that your boss has formulated for the next project, but it's very likely that you're able to influence this time frame by speaking with her or him. We have to stop waiting for things to happen or for someone else to do something for us. You can make a difference. Just because something isn't the way you'd like it to be does not mean that it has to stay that way. Suggestion number 3, anticipate what might happen and what situations that you know will happen will probably be like for you. So being proactive means to focus on the future from time to time. Put yourself mentally into the situation that you know is coming up. What will it be like if it goes well, if it doesn't go well? What could you do to influence the situation so that it goes into the direction that you're hoping for. One example is if you go to the doctors, you can probably count on waiting maybe even up to a couple of hours before you're called into the doctor's office. And a reactive thing to do is to go to the doctors and then become more angry and frustrated with each passing minute at the time that this doctor's office is supposedly wasting in your life. A proactive approach would be to anticipate that you're going to wait, because one usually waits when one goes to the doctors, and to come up with an idea of how you can spend this time in a way that is more pleasant to you. Maybe you can listen to a podcast or catch up on a passion project, and then to think of what you would need to take along in order to do that. And my fourth suggestion for you to practice being more proactive in life is to speak up more. Make suggestions, ask questions, because whenever you want to change something, usually, in almost all cases, someone else will be involved in that change. That could be your boss, your colleague, your friend, your life partner, your child, your parent, etc. And then go into conversation with them. In the spirit of it doesn't hurt to ask, proactive people influence situations and in this way build a life they're happy with. Also, usually, if you're in a situation where you're thinking something but no one is saying anything, you can be quite sure that there are at least a couple other people, if not maybe almost everyone, who are thinking the same thing that you're thinking, but they are also hesitating to speak up. So speaking up can not only be beneficial for you, but also for others in voicing things that are maybe obvious, but nobody is daring to speak up for. By the way, studies could not find an association between being proactive and age or gender. Everyone can learn to be proactive, so can you. And one proactive act that you can do right now is to anticipate all the inspiring videos that will be coming up on this channel in the next few weeks, and to hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss any of the videos that will support you in becoming an expert at self-leadership.